It's quite something, I think, for an independent theatre with a 200-seat auditorium to be surviving that long without any grants, without any handouts financially at all, but literally living on its wits.
I don't think I've ever known anyone come and act here and say, oh, I'd never go back there. Or, volunteer in any way, front of house or anything. We do tend to retain people quite well because we're such a lovely, friendly, welcoming group of people.
I think if you try and be the best you can and offer opportunities to actors and technicians to work with the best and use the best equipment in the best surroundings, you'll end up with a good product.
There's no cutting corners. It's always about the quality and making sure that everything's 100% as close to professionally produced as it can be. And I think that really makes a difference.
It's extraordinary. I mean, we are one of the oldest non-professional theatre companies in the country. I don't know how many there are which are older than us, but not many, I think. It started with this small group of people meeting in somebody's house to form a play reading group.
The story of the Loft Theatre starts with a married couple, the Reverends William and Wilna Constable, who were both keen drama enthusiasts. On the evening of 5th of May 1922, they invited 18 like-minded people to their home in Woodcote Road, Warwick, to discuss the possibility of forming a drama club. The Warwick and Leamington Dramatic Study Club would meet fortnightly under the leadership of its president, Edwin Hill, and a committee of 10, which included the Constables, Vice President J.H. Needham, and the renowned local historian and Lady of Letters, Mary Dormer Harris. The group's first public performance took place on the 24th of March 1923 in front of an invited audience at the Spencer Street Congregational School Hall. The play was The Silver Box, and the cast was mainly made up of those officers and committee members from that first meeting. As part of the Centenary celebrations, the Loft staged a one-off reading of John Galsworthy's play in its studio theatre.
Awfully sorry, but I haven't got a penny in my pocket.
Come, I must. Please, it's my money, and if you took it, I'm not going away without it. They'll turn me out of my place.
But I can't give you what I haven't got. Didn't I tell you I haven't a beastly cent?
Do give it to me. If you don't, I'll summons you. It's stealing, that's what it is.
We needed to mark this milestone, particularly the special moments. The first time there was a production that this company ever did, we needed to have a performance that night. The first date that this group ever met in somebody's house, we needed to mark that night. So there've been some key dates that were important, but also trying to reflect 100 years of work was quite tricky. We've had a really long relationship with Pinter at this theatre, and with Chekhov too, and with Noel Coward. So all of those playwrights who have been frequently performed here had to feature this year. It has to be a year that reflects our history. We have a tradition of presenting the great Irish and American playwrights too. So we included Conor McPherson and Edward Albee into the Centenary programme. We're also well known for doing new work. We love a premiere, so we wanted to commission a new piece of writing.
Mrs. Miller, I understand that the lady from Coventry who succumbed with cholera was a friend of yours.
She was, sir.
You have my sympathies. The events at her funeral must have been most distressing.
In 1849, there was a cholera epidemic in Britain. I wrote this play in lockdown, and when I started discovering that during that epidemic in Leamington, there was a lot of dispute about what preventative measures should be taken. There were some people who were trying to hide the fact that there was a cholera epidemic because it would damage business, and so that people therefore should be kept in the dark about the dangers of what was going on. It seemed to me that this was the obvious thing to write about.
Just look around you. We are desperate. We need all the
start the act, to know that this town needs it.
Performing is my passion. Having the opportunity to put someone else's work on stage, whether that's the writers or the directors, it's such an honour to do that.
In the early days, the Leamington and Warwick Dramatic Study Club, as it soon became known, didn't have a home. They performed in a variety of different venues around the town, including cafes, school halls, the town hall, and Jeffson Gardens Pavilion. By 1932, the group began to look for its own premises. They landed on 58 Bedford Street, a stable owned by Andrews Furnishings with an unused hayloft. The theatre company moved in upstairs at a rent of £50 a year, and the nickname of the loft started and stuck.
What a day for a daydream! What a day for a daydreaming song!
What
And I've been lost in
wakes me from my flowery bed?
daydream.
I pray thee, gentle mortal, sing again. Mine ear is much enamoured by thy note as mine eye.
I wanted to recruit directors who were largely semi or ex-professional, because I wanted to create an appetite for our actors to want to be in the rehearsal room with them, and also to build an associated culture that was welcoming and encouraging and not judgmental. And actually, if you're going to build a volunteer organisation, that's critical, because people are doing this of their own choice.
People used to say in a critical way, well, the trouble with the Loft is they take it all a bit too seriously, which is what I love. I mean, we do take it very seriously.
The word amateur for me always looks as if it's second best, so I've banned it, actually.
The standard is a professional standard, and it's really nice to be part of something that has such that high standard as well.
Sometimes when visiting professional companies come here, they are very impressed indeed, not just by the facilities that they enjoy, but by the levels of support and the expertise that they get in every dimension here, backstage, on stage and front of house.
When you hear that it's a volunteer-run venue, you always think for a second, OK, let's leave a slightly longer time to achieve things. But you walk into the loft, you've already got your volunteers and staff rigging for us and getting the stage prepped and ready for us, which is such a wonderful thing to walk into a venue. You always know it's going to be a positive day.
There's a conscientiousness, I think, about the way the people operate at the Loft. It's a job that we just don't get paid for.
In 1945, the company moved to its current location by the river. This was the old Colonnade Theatre, originally the Victoria Grand Pavilion, built in 1870 as a riding school and circus ring.
The Loft Theatre started in 22, but during the war they bought this site, which was an old cinema. It had been all sorts of things, a circus and a cinema and a roller skating rink and all sorts of things. But they bought this place and they transformed it into a theatre.
A permanent stage, dressing rooms and a box office were added. Upholstered tip-up seats were brought in from the Shakespeare Memorial Theatre in Stratford, and the floor was refitted to create a raked auditorium. But two fires, the first in 1958 and the second, more serious, in 1964, destroyed the original theatre. Productions were temporarily relocated to the Urquhart Hall, and 4 years of intensive fundraising succeeded in raising £35,000 for the construction of a new theatre building.
The second fire, it destroyed this place. So this rose from the ashes, and this in 1969 was a brand new theatre.
I think we're lucky in that we have an architect-designed, custom-built theatre that is fit for purpose. We have our own rehearsal space and all the facilities you would expect of a professional theatre.
It's an astonishing use of space for a small footprint, and it's a great auditorium.
The Loft allows audiences to come into the stage more. You kind of break that fourth wall almost.
I was very pleased when we agreed to add to the main auditorium to turn our rehearsal space into a well-equipped studio theatre to enable us to do 3 or 4 small-scale productions a year.
Hedda Gabler is a famous classic masterpiece by Ibsen, and it had a contemporary version written by my current favourite playwright of Lucy Kirkwood, very faithful to the original, but set in the present day. And it has a brilliantly strong female role. That seemed to me a fitting way to kick off the centenary celebrations.
It was just such a fantastic role. I've never really met or seen a character like Hedda before. She's so complex. And for an actor, that's really quite a challenge, and I like a good challenge.
As long as you keep quiet. That's it then. You have me in the palm of your hand, now and forever. Always and eternally.
Hedda, I won't abuse my position.
No, but I will be in your power all the same. Dependent on your word. I'm not free, never free. No, I can't bear it. I can't bear you.
No, well, maybe, but people have a way of putting up with the inevitable.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
People have said that they haven't seen quality like that outside of London for a very long time, which is really, really nice. To think that we're putting productions on that are of the same standard as the professional theatres is great. That's what we're aiming for.
We had a big challenge with timing because we lost Pete of 10 days in rehearsals because of COVID. Between shows we're working at about 2 nights a week on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, and we'll all come down as a tech team to get on with whatever needs to be done, whether that's rigging, lighting, testing lighting states, testing sound effects, or adjusting the sound layout of the theatre. Things ramp up a little bit as we get into Tech Week, which is the week before the show opens, and we'll often be in sort of 4 or 5 nights a week during those weeks. For me, that's the most exciting part of a production, because that's where the acting and the drama side mixes and finally melds in with the technical side.
I mean, it is a big commitment in that you're here, several times a week rehearsing for 6 weeks before the show even sees a stage. But I love being here, so to me it's sort of an escape from my normal life. I've got lots of children, and it's a little bit of me time when I come here, even if I'm having to be someone else when I am here.
There is a lot of learning and development that goes on at the Loft, but it's primarily learning on the job. We are fortunate in that we have got the time and flexibility to experiment and try things.
I wouldn't have become an actor if it weren't for this theatre. The training that I had in the youth group was just second to none in terms of learning stagecraft and how to work together as a team and as a cast, and giving us an insight into what goes on backstage as well. So we had a really rounded view of how a theatre works.
There is a real sense of pride in what we can achieve, not as individuals, but as a team of volunteers. The level that we can deliver here is exceptionally high, but that wouldn't be worth it if we weren't enjoying it at the same time.
There's no judgment with what your background is or not, or like if you pursued that career or not. Everyone's really respectful of why each person's here. Everyone seems to just listen and learn from each other as well, which is brilliant.
For me, the real heart of it is the people. Having the same aims and trying to achieve the best production we possibly can is a real special thing to be a part of.
For many of the Loft's volunteers, this has been a relationship that lasts a lifetime. Richard Moore joined as an actor in 1969 and has gone on to be a trustee and the company's leading set designer. Artistic director Sue Moore joined in 1970 and has performed and directed over 60 productions. William Wilkinson joined in 1973. In 2022, he directed his 50th play at the Loft, a lavish production of the Oscar Wilde classic Lady Windermere's Fan.
I remember Lady Windermere's Fan for sentimental reasons as well as artistic ones. In 1947, when I was all of 18, I took my girlfriend out, who then became my wife, and we went and spent all our pocket money on seeing Lady Windermere's Fan, directed by the great John Gielgud.
Mrs. Erlin.
You've dropped your fan, Lady Windermere.
We cast it 95% at one sitting, which was exceptional, given that I was looking for 14 actors, or 15 actors initially. And within a few days, we had a complete cast. And from that moment onwards, they were totally, completely, utterly dedicated.
In contrast, this was the first Loft production for actor Christopher Bird.
I played Cecil Graham, a bit of a cad, bit of a jumped up upstart, but he was really fun to play, and the cast, the crew, I couldn't have asked for a better first production.
I'm going to tell my husband everything. It is my duty.
No, it is not your duty. Well, at least you have duties to others besides him. Please don't spoil the one good thing I've done in my life by telling anyone about it.
Did I get everything that I'd imagined? No, but one hell of a lot of it, which is not bad going, frankly. It's a bit of a joke, but I have this joke about working at the Loft. Damn it, let's have another go. I'll get it right next time, you know.
The 16th of March 2020 was the worst day here ever. It was really terrible.
There was a studio production of a play called The Children by Lucy Kirkwood, which opened on the fateful evening. And I came out at about 9 o'clock to find that all the major theatre companies in the country had just announced that they were closing with immediate effect. Sue Moore was in The Children and had just come off stage and was glowing with the success of the evening and sharing drinks with friends, and I had to take her to one side to say, we need to have a serious conversation here, and we concluded very quickly that we had no choice but to close the theatre that night.
I walked through the bar and into the auditorium where there was a rehearsal going on for a production of Anne Boleyn, which was about 10 days from opening. And I had to go in there and stop the rehearsal and say, I'm really sorry, but we are to close and it's got to be tonight. And we have no idea when we will be able to reopen our doors. We all applauded each other. Everybody gave each other a hug, and we switched off the lights and turned the key in the lock without any understanding of what that was going to mean.
And so The Children only got one performance. Fortunately, we were able to bring it back on the main stage when we reopened last year. But sadly without one member of the cast who died of COVID quite early in the pandemic, Martin Cosgriff, who we all miss very much.
What I think I find very healthy about the Loft is that it's got a lot of young people in it. And I think our best legacy is to create a place that they can take on and they can continue to sustain what we've created, but then take it on even further in a way that we haven't even thought of.
We always complain about, oh, we've never got enough people to do this, we've never got enough people to do that, but we always do it. And people, you know, and if somebody else will come along and take it on, and that's the important thing, I think.
We need to keep being radical, keep trying to discover new ways of doing work, keep doing new plays and plays that have been written in recent years, and to keep the place lively, and also to keep attracting actors, directors, technicians, front of house people, all those people who are essential to the running of any theatre company.
If people are thinking of coming to the theatre to volunteer in any way, shape or form, in props, you know, backstage, to act, I would say don't hesitate.
Walking through the door is the first thing. Just come down and maybe see a show. If you like what you see, there are so many people here who would welcome you with open arms.
There is such a variety of roles available that even if you're not that interested in theatre, if you just like talking with people and meeting people, then perhaps front of house or the bar would be a good place. If you've got a technical inkling, then of course we'll welcome you with open arms on the tech team. The real thing that we're looking for is a willingness to be part of a team and a willingness to put in effort and learn.
People that are involved here, a lot of them are professionals and directors that have decades of experience. So you're going to be guided and nurtured by the best people.
The joys of working with a theatre is there's plenty of work for everyone to do. So although you might want to observe and learn, you'll definitely be given a paintbrush or a script at some point.
I mean, it's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, there was a small group of people who sat together in 1922 and decided to form a drama club. And here we are 100 years later, and it's not just surviving, but it's thriving. I mean, wouldn't they be thrilled if they could see this building, how many productions each year were being staged, and the kind of acclaim and reputation that the theatre has too.
Yeah, I don't know, there's something special about this place. I've acted in lots of theatres and this one draws me back over and over and over again. It's really quite special.
It's an interesting life, or it has been an interesting life. I'm immensely indebted to the theatre for giving me a life.
I do hope in 100 years' time that the Loft is still here. I do hope that people still have this urge to tread the boards, remember their lines and not bump into the furniture.